Good afternoon. This is Community Connections, community talk for community people. It's the fastest and most friendly weekly 1-hour talk show in the Great Lakes Bay, Saginaw region. I am glad that you tuned in this afternoon, October the 30th, 2022, for another sharing of community talk and information. Today's Community Connection show is brought to you by the Saginaw branch of the NAACP and its Youth Council. We urge you to get connected, be informed, and stay involved. I am Joyce Harvin, and on today's Community Connection show, my guest is our community's state fire marshal, Ralph Martin. He is here with us to talk about Fire Prevention Month, even though it's the end of the month. And its theme. What is that theme, Rob? I mean, not Rob, but...
Fire won't wait.
Fire
Plan
won't wait.
Your escape.
That's right. I couldn't remember that,
Yep.
but I know it was related to that building over there that I asked you about, that escape.
The escape room.
Right,
Okay.
escape room.
That's a different topic, but yeah,
Right.
they put you in a position.
I'm intrigued.
There you go.
I'm the Rob that everyone's talking about there.
Okay.
She just got.
Okay.
I do that to women sometimes when I'm playing my Halloween theater special.
Yeah.
So she got scared. She called Ralph Rob, and then I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's Halloween. That's what it is. But first of all, Rob, let me tell you this. I cannot hear in these. It's the same one, but it's not working. Okay, so I can't hear it in my headphone, but I do have the state fire marshal, Ralph Martin, here, and he's here to talk about Fire Prevention Month, even though it's at the end of the month.
That's okay.
Okay, all of the information you have for us
It's for all year
always
round.
good. That's absolutely
So thanks for
right.
having me, Joyce. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Listen, before we get into that, I want to. I don't know if I got a chance to tell you about the Black Arts, the Saginaw African Cultural Festival, how well it was done this year. We're planning on the
55th and
double nickels,
and we're already excited. We're already getting started, and I like to thank everyone that was involved as well, including yourself and the Rob father who was on stage. Have always helped us out with the Saginaw African Cultural Festival.
Very good.
And all of my committee members. I can name them all, but I wish I could. If I miss somebody, I'll be upset. And also our elders, Keno Muwali and Queen Mother, Pat Lamar, Patricia Lamar. And we just thank everybody that was involved.
And Vicky Hill too. Vicky Hill and I
Vicky Hill was on stage, and we have Yvonne Daniels, part of our committee, and we're just excited about next year already. We've already started. My committee is already, we're meeting already.
Very good.
John Turner with the children.
Yes, he
Mrs. Diggs.
Excellent job.
Yeah, Mrs. Diggs, Karen Lawrence Webster. And Alexis Thomas, and of course our who keeps us all together, Janice Moore. We've been putting together. We're trying to make next year even more exciting, and we want the people to come out for that nice and family fun for this 55th Saginaw African Cultural Festival.
Yes. In case you did not know, the reason I asked Ralph is because he's the head honcho. He is the chief.
I am the current, and I always say current. President of the Saginaw African Cultural Festival Committee.
You do a fabulous job holding it
so
all
much.
together.
Thank you so much.
Smooth running.
Well, that's what you guys see.
It's a wonderful job.
But it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love. It was a bunch of volunteers, community volunteers, just really want to see something positive in the community, and just to see the faces of all the youth. You guys see it. Both of you are on the ground, see the kids smiling, having a good time.
Yes.
Senior citizens feeling safe. A real nice, safe environment, wholesome. You got food, fun, and culture, poetry, book reading, entertainment. Just just name it. We just want to bring that to Saginaw.
Family entertainment.
And we appreciate that the city pretty respect the grounds, and we never have any incidents where the law has to be called. It's like people just know that this is an event where we don't come out here and act up.
Actually, in the last few years, not counting the COVID one we did online, when I first went to it a couple years ago before that, and after COVID, I have never seen one police officer walk the street. They walk there in uniform. If there was a police officer along there, he or she was there undercover, whatever it is. But you did not see an obvious police officer there, which shows that we as Black people, to everyone out there, listen to my voice, we can behave and we do behave when we come together for a positive situation.
That's
tens of thousands. So over the 3-day period, our count is over tens of thousands. 10 coming and going the whole time. And not one police 911 call.
And to use Kareem Bowen's words, that's the village doing its thing.
That's the village.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it. And we want to keep that going 55 years and running. This is the 55th year, the longest running African Cultural Festival in the country. We want to keep it going. And we appreciate all those that help endure and help us do any type of contribution and sponsorship. Thank you. Let's keep going.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned the sponsorship, because we always need money.
We always need
because we can do it bigger and better.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Stressless.
I think about that 17 acres. We could be on the freeway, people could see us.
We have ideas. We have even more ideas of building our own permanent amphitheater, and just there's a lot of ideas that's been coming. Having out just like what we have down at the Dow Event Center. Something like that, but maybe not as big, but something similar to the one that Jolt is promoting down at the Saginaw Dow.
You're referring to Jolt Credit Union
anymore. Yeah, it is a Dow still.
You're referring to Jolt Credit Union, right?
Yeah.
You're referring to Jolt Credit Union?
Yes.
Okay. When you say Jolt, I want to listen to know what you're talking about.
Yes, Jolt Credit Union.
Their sign is on that.
Yeah. I don't know what that arrangement is, but they landed good on that.
Yeah.
You know, as long as
we'll work on it. We're working on something.
Well, that's good. I'm absolutely looking forward to the 55th anniversary. Let's talk about arson fires. Let's talk about Halloween. Has anything happened, erupted, or is the arson watch group even together?
You know, Joyce, since I retired like almost 3 years ago, I'm not as in tune with what's going on. My ears are not to the ground as they once were. I'm not as connected to what's going on in the city. But from what I understand, fire numbers are down. And that's always thankful for the community and neighborhood associations and Saginaw Fire Department and the Saginaw Police Department, you know, making sure that they're engaging in the community, attending community neighborhood association meetings. I'm not 100% sure if there is an arson watch program still going or being developed it would be tomorrow night if it was, or tonight. It would be tonight. Tonight would be actually Angels Night.
No, they call it Mischief Night. Mischief Night, or you can call it Devil's Night, whatever. You know,
I know.
Well, I'm gonna hope and pray that we don't have anything happen tonight.
So, you know? and the fact that we haven't heard anything, I don't think it's as, you know, we may not be in the need of having that, but we had, because when I was there in like between 2012 and 2016, we had hundreds of fires between like, especially like we call Angels Night. We were like, tonight I would be out and about just riding around and boarding up vacant homes and doing things to help prevent and do a predisposal of making sure that people were safe, especially in neighborhoods. We were having people water down their leaves. Right. But people may not be as mischief, and maybe I think a lot of it was set intentionally. I think a lot of that has kind of went by the wayside. The intentional fires and that.
I hope that they are learning to respect the neighborhood.
Yes.
Respect the city of Saginaw and where you live.
This is where you live. Yes.
You know, I see. But I'm glad to hear that. Also, there's no arsons that have taken place even in the blighted areas. Okay. So those communities can be hopefully built back up. So don't burn them down, and the city, please don't tear them down, not yet. Okay, because they can be rehabbed. Okay, a lot of them, Now I know that there is a need for better housing in the city of Saginaw, and I've always talked about that and addressed that we need better housing so we can attract people here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to go out to the west side or way out in the township somewhere.
Right.
Come and live in the neighborhood.
Right.
When you were growing up, your parents lived in the neighborhood.
10th and Cherry.
That's right.
North,
That's right.
South 10th and Cherry Street.
And so we need professionals.
Right.
In our neighborhoods, and so we need good housing. So I would really absolutely love for economic development, housing development to work together with all areas of the school system
and
there's getting housing here.
And there actually seem to be some initiatives that are trying to go in that direction. From what I understand, some of the ARPA money, that's trying to be allotted. One of the requests is to rehab and do better with the housing, and to present to the community some affordable housing.
Right.
There are different entities out there. CAP, with Jeffrey Bulls, he has a group that they're looking for, trying to get affordable housing. Yeah, they've been pretty aggressive and having some very good ideas. Sometimes you need to keep a little agitation out there and keep everybody on the council and the what is it, the county, the county commissioners, it's got to kind of keep them, let them know that we're out here and make some noise. The squeaky wheel get the oil, as they say.
Always.
You got to make some noise.
I don't remember quite the year where there was a program, Saginaw Neighborhoods Incorporated. Do you remember that? Were you still a baby then?
Was that when they had the what was it? Model cities or something?
It wasn't no model cities. It wasn't that far back.
Okay,
but
I was gonna say, so
after
I go
that,
way back.
There came the it was a program. The director was Jack Haynes.
Okay.
Rosetta Harrell worked in that program along with Carolyn Mason. A lot of people from the community, and they actually, it was Saginaw Neighborhoods Incorporated. They actually went out and they taught the people in the community.
That means a lot right there.
How to respect your community and how to fight City Hall.
Yes.
I love that program because they would have to tell them what to do and they did it. And we need that.
Because a lot of people don't know what to do.
That's right.
We don't know that they can go down.
So when I read that document that they had offered from CAP, I said, okay, they're going in the right direction. I hope that they will accomplish the same thing.
Right.
Because people need to know how to address and how to get things done. And
I think they will, because I attended a meeting that they had over at New Life, Jeffrey Bulls and his and Cap. And it was very informative. There were some things I did not even know. Okay. I've been working with the city and living on the northeast side, and he has a breakdown of each neighborhood, east side, west side, southeast side, and it made a lot of sense. And it's something that they will have to pay attention to when you come and organize such as that.
Very good, very good. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the theme for Fire Prevention Month. And tell us what are some of the new tips that we need to parlay to our listening audience for this season. Okay. We know that we're going to have lower rates of any little house fires and always those the air ducts on your dryer. Those kind of fires. But what's the main thing that we need to look for? Is it the plan?
Yes, once again, it says fire won't wait. Plan your escape. The key word in that whole in that motto is plan. When you have a plan, and you always have a better chance of implementing that plan if you already have practiced it, or if you already have something in your head, like, if a fire occurs on this side of my house, what will I do? Will I be able to go out of the rear door? Would I be able to go out of the front door? Would I be trapped? Or if a fire occurs, what would be my first move? Have a plan. And that's very important. Even today, I still make sure if I go anywhere, even if a restaurant, church, I'm looking around, I'm looking at the exit doors. And it's not even just fire anymore. Is at this point, someone could come in and just be an active shooter or something.
Yes.
And things have changed so much, Joyce, to the point where before it was like, if that alarm goes off, get out. There used to be that. Don't even think about it. Get low and go, get out, exit.
Right.
Now you have to make sure that you can't go out because somebody might be out there waiting for you to come out before they taking shots at you.
That's right.
So there's like different ways that nowadays it has changed a lot, especially in the schools. Like as a state fire marshal, I do inspections of schools. And now a lot of the schools are getting self locks where their doors can actually they can barricade themselves inside as a safe haven and sheltering in place. Where if there was an active shooter in the school, they cannot open the door. And this is allowed. Whereas before it was like, no way you can have that door unlocked. You just got to get out because there's a fire. So the code has actually changed, but in case of a fire, they still have to be able to exit that room in another way.
So will the schools now have to, if there was a fire,
right,
if they cannot get out of the door because it is locked, they have to go out the window?
Well,
if there's a window?
There's a special release mechanism on all the doors. And that's one of the parts that when I go to the schools that has installed these new measures of safety, I have to make sure there's a second way that the fire department can come in and get you out. But with that being said, there's also different alarms now. The same alarm that's activated in case of a fire may be a different alarm activated in case of it may go a little different than the sound of the alarm of shelter in place or a tornado. Or so now we got to pay a little more attention. Before once you hear that fire alarm, get down and get out. Now it's like, I'm gonna say, which alarm is that? So it's a little different. There's a lot of difference going on, and just because of the time, it's sad, but just because of the times and this is what we're living in.
Yeah, I'll have to call now because I get the notice for the drills from the colleges, and different places.
Right, it's a little different now.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, the plan that you should be making. Okay. Do you need to have several plans? If you have a 2-story building,
yes.
Okay. If you have a playroom or a den somewhere in the basement, you have to have several different escape plans.
Definitely, if you have a second level, the idea would be to have one of those collapsible ladders that would unravel out of your windows. But many of us do not have that. But if the fire does occur on the first level and you cannot get down that stairwell, you have to consider going out of a second-story window. But if you do go out of a second-story window, when I did my presentations, I would show them how they can hang at the bottom of the window and allow themselves to let go. That way their feet are closer to the ground and a less chance for any type of physical injury upon landing. So instead of just jumping out of a window, try to hang from the bottom of the windowsill with your arms up and then let go that way. And your feet are closer to the ground and there's less chance that you will get seriously injured, but you are alive. If smoke is coming in that room. Another thing is make sure you sleep with your bedroom door closed. With that bedroom door closed.
Explain that again.
They ask you to sleep with the bedroom door closed because most fatalities occurs because of smoke inhalation. So if you're in the bed asleep, bedroom door is wide open, that smoke, even if you have a smoke alarm, smoke could possibly get in that room so quickly that by the time that smoke alarm activates, that room, at least the top portion of the room may be full of smoke to the point where it's toxic enough to render you incapacitated. If you stand up, always get down low and go. We always say get down low and go. So because the lower you are, the better quality of air. But if you were to have that door closed, it would take a lot longer for that smoke to enter that room, and hopefully your smoke alarm would activate, and that'll give you more time to either go out of the bedroom window or another means of escape. That's why you always try to say have two ways out. That's another favorite thing. We always try to have two ways out.
I can only think of getting my purse and my robe.
Yeah, that's it.
Go out the door. But,
although,
you know,
well,
I think about that this time of year. You know, when, well, not just this time of year, but I just think about that, about the escape route.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, should one have locking deadbolt locks, and you lock that door, leave the key in the door so that you can get out
on the inside of the door? I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
I mean, most of the deadbolts are for security reasons, from someone on the outside getting in. So that's hard. That's a hard one. I mean, if you got the key on the inside, you know, a lot of them just have a knob you turn. But you said if someone's have a key, because I would definitely not want to see you having to go get your key and use your key to open the door if a fire is in the room and you need to get out that door. Because that's one of your main exits is the door. Because there's a good chance you can just go out your door and get out the house. It's very, you know, it might be a different opportunity where you have to close your door and go out your window. So so you're talking about to the outside of your house? Yeah,
to the outside of my house.
Okay, not a bedroom.
Right.
Because I don't know why you would need a key to your bedroom.
Well,
but I don't know.
Sometimes if you have kids.
Yeah.
You got little kids come in.
Having a key in your bedroom.
Well,
but you're right.
So, okay, someone posed that question to me. I said, well, I don't.
Well, they probably have a key in their bedroom. They don't want kids coming in.
Well, there's some bolts that do, and they're not necessarily deadbolts so much, but there are locks that you can have a key on the outside. When I lived in Canada and G was like a toddler, he once went out of our apartment, outside the door there, and because he's just able to turn the knob from the inside, he took a little stroll out there. So that's it. Well, I went straight to the Home Depot, whatever it was called in Canada at the time, and bought a lock so that I could put the key on the inside, and that way he didn't have a way of turning the knob. We knew where the key was. Only his mother and I could reach the key, and that kept him from just taking a stroll outside whenever he wanted to. You know, so some people have those kind of locks there, you know, so they can do that. But if you're an adult, leave the key there, or at least leave it by hanging off the knob, so you can just stick the key in when you get ready to leave.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. All right.
So if that person is listening, it depends on the scenario.
Right.
Or you may have a type of glass pane next to the door where people can just break the glass and then turn the lock. Well, if there's no key there, then they can't get in so easily.
You're right. Especially, and if you have a history of that happening in that community, you may want that key there.
Exactly.
So it depends.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break right here and come back. You are listening to Community Connections, Community Talk for Community People. I'm Joyce Harvin, and my guest this afternoon is Ralph Martin. He is the Community State Fire Marshal, Ralph Martin. We'll be right back and give you more information.
You're listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1.
It's Straight Talk, straight with no chaser. It's Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen, getting right to the heart of the matter, giving you all of what's happening in Saginaw and the Great Lakes Bay region, all at a grassroots level. Sundays at 6 p.m. on KISS 107.1.
Hi, I'm Dawn Hinton, the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs at Saginaw Valley State University. The stakes are high. Some elected officials at the local, state, and national level are rolling back rights that we thought were fundamental. They're incarcerating women who have abortions, making it harder for communities of color to vote, and banning books about diversity from schools. The NAACP needs you to stand up and speak out about these policies and efforts by exercising your power through voting.
Son, get in the car.
No, Dad, not your car. It smells horrid and it looks awful. I'm scared, Dad. I'm really scared.
Is your old car really scary? Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City wants your scary old trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can drive a new, more fuel-efficient Mitsubishi for less. Like a new 22 Mitsubishi Mirage with 43 miles per gallon highway. Zero down, just $259 a month. This is not a lease. You own it with zero down and the Showcase Mitsubishi 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Worried that your credit will make car buying scary? We are the home of credit forgiveness, and you can get pre-approved up to $30,000, no social required. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Only at Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City, the home of credit forgiveness and America's lowest priced SUVs.
83 months financing at 3.25% plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees. With approved credit. Offers not combined.
It started with our voting rights. Next, it was our right to choose. Now Republican Paul Young would join Republicans who would cut our Social Security and Medicare. Young's record is clear. He even sided with big pharmaceutical companies that gouge prices for prescription drugs. Paul Young's first vote in Congress would be for the Republican leaders who want to hurt mid-Michigan seniors. He opposed capping costs on life-saving drugs like insulin. Now, those same Republican leaders are spending millions to prop up Young's campaign. They know he'll be just another vote for their dangerous agenda, all while he ignores all of us in mid-Michigan. But we have a chance to stop him. Don't be silent. Make your voice heard. Elections matter. Vote. Paid for by House Majority PAC. TheHouseMajorityPAC.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. House Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And now back to Community Connections on KISS 107.1.
You are back with Community Connections, Community Talk for Community People. My guest is Ralph Martin. He is a state fire marshal. And I was talking to him about plans for escape, from your home, as part of the theme.
Right.
Fire won't wait.
Fire won't wait. Plan your escape. And that's something that's very important. Have a plan. If a fire occurs here, what would I do? If a fire occurs there.
Right.
And one of the main places to always consider is kitchen fires, because that's one of the main origins of fire in most occupied dwellings is in the kitchen.
Yeah. Those dryers and
be
people
careful,
leaving
dryers.
Food on the stove.
Yep,
and
dryers.
don't know how to put it out.
Right. And
how should they put it out?
But not with water. That's right off the bat. Do not use water for a grease fire.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's something besides grease, you can use water. Hopefully, ideally would be an extinguisher, the proper extinguisher, ABC extinguisher. That would be one that has the dry chemical agent that would suppress the fire right away. If you have if you have a deep fryer or do a lot of grease cooking, like in the kitchen, there's called a K extinguisher. They're usually silver. The silver ones you see in kitchens, that one has a grease depressant agent with a foam that will put out a grease fire. So that's what it's made for. But normally, just put the lid on it. If you can put a lid on it, if you feel comfortable enough to put a lid on that pot, that fire will go right away, because you're just eliminating the oxygen.
And that's what baking soda does too, correct?
Right.
Baking
if you got enough baking soda, if you make sure you got enough of it, though.
The big bag.
Yeah. Don't grab the one out of the refrigerator, because it might be a brick.
Right.
And you throw it on there, and that brick just pop, just splash the fire up on the curtains. Now you got a fire everywhere. And that's one of the scenarios I try to remind people. I say, they think about baking soda, they think of the one in the freezer, they grab it and they throw that, and it will work, because basically all it's doing is smothering the fire.
All right. Yeah.
But if you put a lid on it, a lot of times that'll be.
Let's talk about the bigger fires in institutions, hospitals, workplaces, the colleges, the schools. Are they required to have a plan? Required to have a plan for evacuation?
Yes, hospitals are required. Matter of fact, as state fire marshal, that is one of the first things I do during my annual inspections, is look through their documentation, showing how often they have their fire safety plans, how often they conduct their fire drills. Hospitals have to do it at least 3 times a month, almost, as far as each unit. I mean, each staff, each shift. I'm sorry, like your first shift, second shift, third shift. I have to see documentation where each shift has conducted a fire drill, and they have to show me where they conducted it and how it was conducted, which pool station they use, how long did it take them to evacuate, how long, that's required in the state fire inspection.
Well, the people who are in the hospital, Are they a part of that drill?
No.
Are they
it's more for the employees.
Okay, but they're not moving beds to a different location or trying to get them outside or anything like that.
Not during the drill. They simulate somewhat, because hospitals are normally, we have different fire, like you may go in another section and that section is cordoned off to the point where it's almost a different building, because you have a 2-hour firewall, and they're like they would call us, smoke corridors where people can go and be in a safe place inside the building and still be able to be away from the fire. If there were a fire, they would be. And plus, all those buildings are fully sprinkled, which means most of those fires would be contained to wherever the fire originated because of the sprinkler system. Okay. Because that room going to get doused with water. Right. To the point by the time the fire department gets there, most of the fires should be somewhat contained. That's when the building is totally sprinkled. That's very rare that fire gets out of control.
How different is that job of, working with the universities and making sure, not universities, but all
state inspections.
Yeah. And what you were doing here.
Only the difference is I really miss not going to the schools, doing the safety, going to stop, drop, and roll with the youth, taking the fire safety house out, going to the neighborhood associations. I'm not required. I don't have to do that. I will do it if someone asks, but I don't. That's not part of my job. And I also do not have to investigate cause and origins of arson fires. That's not part of a state fire marshal's job. Not my job. State police do that.
The state police.
Yes, the state police take care of the arson investigations.
So within the fire unit,
Bureau of Fire Services,
there's
inspections only.
Only inspections. Okay.
That's all I do, and that's only at universities, hospitals, schools. That's what jurisdiction. That's the state jurisdiction. Nursing homes, adult foster care homes, marijuana facilities, and correctional facilities.
I bet you they got all the sprinklers up in the marijuana place.
They're very, very. They have a lot that they have to make sure to be in compliance for those facilities. Yes, they are very strict on those facilities, but they are always compliant. You rarely can find any violations because they're so lucrative. They don't want to, just like a hospital. They're very rare that you find violations because they need to keep with the commission. They have to make sure that we get an approval from the state fire marshal before they can go a step further and keep their licenses. They have to make sure that approval is approved. Okay. So there we go.
Well, let's go back. We have parents who are listening. Okay. They sent their children off to college. Okay. So do you do inspections and make sure that there are plans for the dorms, or is it just for the teaching area?
Dorms are also part of the state fire marshal rules, inspections. Whenever there are new dorms projects, we have to go and inspect and make sure the fire system, the sprinkler systems are in the right place. The sprinkler heads are in all the rooms. The right material being used, fire resistant materials in the walls. Matter of fact, I'm working on one at Central Michigan right now. Some of the dorms in that area, they just did some construction, and I have to look at it before they go any further. So yes,
okay. So parents,
they should be safe. Most are sprinkled, and unless it goes way back before.
Now, do they have
grandfather?
Do they have the drills?
They don't have the drill. I don't know. That's up to the RA. I'm sure they may have something.
Okay.
So I'm sure some of the schools, that's something we're not required to see their drills. Like the hospitals, we're required to see how many drills. We are not required to see the drills of universities, just the hospitals and the nursing homes and the adult foster care homes. They have to have drills, and
they have to have drills.
Yes.
But again, they don't, like a hospital, you do not have to move patients from an area for that drill.
Some of the nursing homes,
I watch a lot of TV.
We kind of do. Some of the nursing homes, they actually are required to vacate the building.
Okay.
Like so, a lot of them are just in the house, like a regular house. And some of those now, if the person is physically impaired, they have to show what's the special way you're gonna remove this person in a timely manner. We may have to go there, but usually they actually go out.
What about group homes here in Saginaw or across the state? What about you have to group homes where maybe a couple of senior citizens are living in a home and they have a supervisor there or a live-in supervisor there? Are those kind of homes inspected, and do they have to have a plan as well?
Yes, they are inspected because they have to get their licensing from somewhere. And whichever entity they're getting their licensing from, they will have to do some type of inspections, make sure they have the sprinklers. I mean, they may not have to have a sprinkler system. Make sure they have to have their extinguishers. The doors have to have latches. They have to have their furnaces, so where the furnaces have been inspected, things of that nature. So, yeah, most group homes to keep their licenses, they have to show an approved letter from some sort of inspection.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to go back to the blighted housing thing. Okay. All right. Because there is so much blighted housing. All right. What happens when a house burns down and it is not, they can't save it? Okay. Will that property, do they receive any, you're not there, but do they investigate that property to see why it burned down, who started it or anything like that? Do they do that? Yes,
usually they do. There have been, when we had like a rash of them, then but if it's in a suspicious fire where there's no way it could have been accidental, it's usually a cause and origin where someone comes and investigate it. If it's not the Saginaw's fire marshal, who's in the whole department by himself, just like I used to be, so it's kind of hard for him to get there. The state fire investigators will go in. But if someone gets hurt or anything, or if it's an occupied dwelling, usually it's always investigated because of the insurance or if for any other reason.
Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned insurance because if the property, if the property was insured by the city, let's say it was still city property, and or if it was the county's property. Okay, so if they have insurance on that dilapidated house, all right, or that piece of property, whatever, and it burns up, okay, can they get insurance on that?
I don't think
so.
Can that happen? I don't think so. I think from when I was a fire investigator, it was not. It got to the point where unless someone was living in that dwelling, the insurance companies did not pay off. At first, they did. And I think somewhere between 2016, 2017, 2018, some things started changing to the point where the insurance companies weren't just doling out money every time a homeowner or a property owner or a landlord say, hey, my empty house caught on fire and I just put this insurance. There were times when someone just put $500,000 insurance policy on a house that nobody lived in over 2 years. And it seemed like something had happened where that changed, where you couldn't get paid off if there was no one living in that dwelling. So that after that, fires went down real quick as well.
Oh, that's good. So
I think someone has to actually live in that dwelling for a lot of insurance companies to pay off. And that's another factor that helped senseless fires to go down. Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good.
Yeah. He said people were just getting money.
Yeah, people were just getting money.
Yeah.
Just getting money. I've got a. Okay, I want to do some, Rob. I'm going to take just a little break from talking to my guest here because I just want to talk about some things that are going on in the community that is related to Election Day. Very important. We are all working on this. I too want to say thank you to Riley Salvner and Marissa Humes, 10th graders at SASO that did pumpkins. I too had a pumpkin painted, and they also did one for the NAACP and my church. I requested them to do that. Very talented students at SASA. And so we want to say thank you to Riley and to Maritza for helping out with this community event, but just helping to brighten up our Halloween here. We don't really celebrate a lot of Halloween, but really nice pumpkins. I appreciate that. Also, I sent a message to the president of the NAACP asking him if we still needed poll watchers. Anyone who is interested in being a poll watcher, I ask you to call the Saginaw NAACP at 989-752-0614, okay? And let them know that you're interested in being a poll watcher for Election Day.
Pick the number.
Okay? The number for the NAACP is 989-752-0614. And let them know that you are interested. You can leave it on the voicemail if there's no one there. And poll watchers will need to be trained. If there are enough people, and if we don't have enough, or there are going to be some on standby, then they will be trained. So they will have the training if they need to be replaced, need to replace one of the ones who maybe have to leave. But you, as a poll watcher, you will receive a $50 gift certificate for 4 hours of work, or a $100 certificate for working 8 hours. So if you're interested and you want to be on the standby list, to fill in, please call the NAACP. And then I also want to let you know that on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the NAACP is having a soul food dinner, a get out to vote. So
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah,
Is that November 6th?
And I'm on the committee.
November 6th?
I will be there.
Because that's next Sunday.
That's next Sunday.
Okay.
Right after church. It's going to be at the Bagley Hall. You know about this, Rob? Okay.
I probably just saw the email and didn't open it. I'm sure I have the email.
Terry is sending out all kinds of emails.
Great. I will count me in.
Saginaw NAACP Saginaw branch hosts a Get Out the Vote rally. It's a rally. The public is invited, and it's featuring free full-course Sunday chicken dinner.
Wow.
Okay.
I love chicken on
There's
Sunday.
going to be a drawing for prizes. There are going to be people there to speak.
Okay.
So you got to eat and listen. Okay.
Are you going to require them to show their voter registration card?
I don't know. I had asked about that.
Because it's easy to eat something, then they'll vote on Tuesday,
Let
So
me
what,
tell you,
I'm serious about this whole voting
I told
thing.
them we can feed
Good
1,000
idea,
people. They will be there. Anyway, there are going to be prizes. They're going to give away a couple of big screen TVs. I think you have to buy tickets though, Ralph, because I'm not sure. But anyway, it's going to be Sunday from 2 to 4. Okay. Get there. First come, first serve. I'm going in and get mine. Set it on the side.
UAW 699 Hall, right?
Yes, UAW Local 699 Hall. That's at 1911 Bagley Street right here in Saginaw. Your vote is your voice. And again, it's free.
Great.
You got to listen. We're going to wait to the end.
I'm really excited about this voting.
Yes, I wanted to get over. I want to talk a little politics, but oh my goodness.
Yes.
So much. The other thing I want to say is congratulations to Sherry Long. She was a guest on my show. She started the Heart of the City program for young people ages 18 to 25 who are, what do you call it? Mentally challenged. And she provided a opportunity for them to go to social outings so they would be around people.
That's wonderful.
She did a wonderful job at Buena Vista.
That's wonderful.
There were kids coming in. They were dressed all kind of ways, but it was just wonderful. And there was at least one person who was running for office that came by. That was Dan Kilden. He was so excited. He stayed there. I was there taking pictures and documenting it for her. But that event, and she's doing events all the time. It's the Heart of the City Development Corporation, I think. That's the title. And she's going to come on next week because she wants to say thank you to people. I mean, they are embracing her, and she is a wonderful person to have put this on. And she's everywhere trying to let people know and to get these young people back mainstream into the community. So very good. Very good.
Well, you know what, Joyce, at this moment, I just really want to say thank you on behalf as a community member. What you do as far as your production, you and Rob here, you know, it really does make an effect in the community. You guys are doing great. Your photos you take out, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
And Rob makes us feel good with his music. And he does all the producing here. I mean, this is a lot of work here. For all the listeners out here, you see what they do. This is really professional, and they are keeping us informed. Maybe today may be off tilt because I'm here, but just let's listen to all those other names and the people that they have come sit in this chair, and it's really, really exciting to be here, be amongst great professionalism. So please keep up the good work. We appreciate you.
I appreciate
you,
Rob.
Rob,
so very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And it's good working, have a good working relationship.
Yes.
And to keep things going, because it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I can see that. There's a lot of technical work too. Buttons and lights.
But as you said, it's behind the scenes, because all the secret of it all is to do the dirt behind the scenes. People can't see, so that when we put out the product, it looks seamless.
Right.
It looks easy.
And I can see he's moving so hard over here, Rob. You just don't realize when you're out there listening. I'm just riding down the street, driving my car, listening. You're not imagining all the things, Rob. Both hands are moving, and Joyce looking at paperwork and looking at this.
It's a lot of
These
work.
two are putting in work, everybody. Listen, they are putting in work.
Well, I love what I do. I feel that we should have a voice for the community, and I'm happy to be that voice.
Thank you.
There's so much information that we need to keep ourselves going, our families going, our community going.
Keep up the good work. Thanks,
thank
Kiss.
you very
Thanks,
much.
Kiss 107.1.
Yes. Well, listen, I want to also ask you just a couple more things. Okay. What is the most bizarre case that you have ever had to inspect?
Ooh. The most bizarre case.
Yes. In terms of arson and fires.
I wish I'd have thought of it. So many. That's thousands. I remember going in a fire over on Bay Street, and we were inside, house full of smoke, and then we all went out. When we come out to rehab, me and a couple other firefighters, and the lady was outside. No one was injured. She said, "Oh, did you guys see Riley? Did you guys see Riley? He's still in there. Riley's still in there." I'm like, "What? We of course we getting excited. We putting our coats back on." Like, Riley. She said, "Yes, Riley's still in there. He's still in there. He's still be in that back bedroom." He said, and I'm thinking, I say, okay, maybe Riley's a pet. Maybe I knew it wasn't a person. I kind of knew that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking a dog or cat. And I said, I said, how big is Riley? Oh, he's about a 9-foot boa constructor.
Oh, no.
I said, oh, okay.
No. Right. Listen, he want to come out, but he's going to snake his way on out.
I said, hold on. So I got my professionalism. I said, well, guess what? Riley probably got out before you did, because he probably smelled smoke, and animals are usually, and the lowest he is, the smoke will hardly ever get down to that low level to affect him to the point where he would be overcome by smoke because he's too low. And she was, because but then we found out he was actually in a box, what you call it, an aquarium type plant, but he was okay.
Okay.
And they got him out.
They found
big old snake. I'm like, okay. And a couple of times go in the basement and a bunch of bats will come at you. I've had those type of things, but every call was an adventure. But as far as investigations, it's man, I can go on and on. But those two kind of come to mind. That's when I was actually a firefighter, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with the decrease in fires, is there still a need for firefighters?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. There'll never be a point where, even though the arsons are down, accidents do happen. Candles could get knocked over, and that's another thing. Be careful with candles this time of year. People like to have their candles and leave the home. Candles,
gas
leaks, and there's other, not only just fires. Fire department are responding to car accidents now, collapse, water rescue. We're more involved in just fires.
It's just nature too. Lightning could strike something,
right?
Put a fire. Or a plane could crash on some type of building.
Yeah, a lot of politicians are trying to see those numbers. It's almost like a catch-22, because if I do a really good job and the fires go all the way down, then they get to saying, well, what do we need you guys for?
Right.
So if there's a lot of fires or we haven't had a fatality in over 3 years, we knock on wood, but we'd like to hear that. That's a success story. But they see it as, okay, well, we can shut this fire station down. They're not having any fires. They're not having any fires over there anymore. Not like they used to. But and the politicians see that. Some politicians, I'm not saying all, but someone will see that as an opportunity to close down a station, because this fire marshal is doing such a great job of keeping the fires down low that we don't need. And that's kind of where you get caught in the middle sometimes.
Yeah.
Unless you're willing to train your volunteer firefighters, then we need firefighters,
Yeah.
And I can say it because I trained as one in the Navy, so we had to train for fires on a ship.
Right.
Were you
guys all were firemen.
Were you ever a volunteer fireman?
No.
Oh, it's got paid.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not knocking it.
Okay.
But
you know what, Ralph? I pulled up these questions. Because I wanted to add, these are things that I have always wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
About being a firefighter.
Okay. But I might, now that I didn't even want to be a firefighter at first. My dad told me go take the exam, and my dad, who's a police officer, he said go take that fireman exam. I'm like, fireman exam? I don't want to be a firefighter. I don't want to be a firefighter, even as a kid. And then that was the best thing. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, because I wasn't afraid of heights. Because he used to know I would be up on the roof doing stuff, and nobody else would go up to the highest peak. I would.
You would.
And we got to be kind of crazy, because we run in burning houses when everybody else is running out. So he saw that in me, like, let's go take that test, and I loved it. All right,
very good, Ralph. I want to say thank you for being here this afternoon.
So glad
I always enjoy you. I think that firefighting is just really interesting.
It's a calling. I don't call it a job, because you got to be called. Because I've seen people that actually pass every exam, everything that it was to get to that point. But when they got there and that flame was coming out of every window, and they said, "Okay, go in there, or go on that roof and put a hole in that roof."
Training can get you.
They couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Okay. Well, I had an interest a long time ago in that. So I'll have to tell you about that, Ralph.
It's not too late.
Okay. Yes. What?
It's not too late. Still young.
Anyway, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed you too.
You are a great guest here on Community Connections. And I invite you, my listening audience, to tune in next Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. for another sharing of community talk and information featuring the news and interests of the African American community. Community Connections, community talk for community people, next Sunday right here on this station. And thanks to those who make this program possible, my fabulous connectors. The Community Connections theme song was written by local author, poet, and social activist Sigrid Mersha and performed by Gone. Today's Community Connections radio magazine was brought to you by the Saginaw NAACP and its Youth Council. Remember, membership is power. And I want to leave you with this quote. Always follow your dreams, and remember, you are special. I will talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Community Connections with Joyce Harvin on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Community